The year is 1348. A merchant ship docks at London's bustling port. Within its hull, hidden among silks and spices, death itself has arrived. Within months, the streets of London will run with corpses, and the night air will be filled with screams that seem to never end. This is the story of how the Black Death turned London into a living nightmare. The plague reached England in June 1348, likely through the port of Melcombe Regis in Dorset. But it was London, with its narrow, filthy streets and population of nearly 80,000 packed into 1 square mile, that became the perfect killing ground. The disease spread with terrifying speed. One day, a merchant would be haggling over wool prices. The next, he'd be shivering with fever, dark swellings the size of apples erupting from his neck and groin. These buboes, black and oozing, gave the plague its name. Within 3 to 5 days, most victims were dead. But it was the nights that truly embodied the horror. As darkness fell over medieval London, the city transformed into a symphony of suffering. The sick, delirious with fever, would scream through the night, some hallucinated demons tearing at their flesh. Others begged for death to end their agony. Families locked themselves inside their homes, listening to neighbors dying just feet away through thin wooden walls. The bring out your dead carts rumbled through streets, lit only by torchlight, collectors shouting their grim refrain. Bodies were stacked like cordwood, the city's graveyards filled within weeks. Mass graves were dug in Smithfield and beyond the city walls. Thousands of corpses were dumped into pits, often with barely a prayer said over them. The living couldn't bury the dead fast enough. Contemporaries described the stench as unbearable, a mix of rotting flesh, burning herbs meant to ward off disease, and the ever-present filth of medieval streets. London's social fabric disintegrated. Priests refused to give last rites, terrified of contagion. Doctors fled the city. Families abandoned their own children when they showed symptoms. Some turned to flagellation, whipping themselves bloody in the streets, believing God's wrath could only be appeased through suffering. Others descended into nihilism. If death was certain, why not drink, feast, and sin? Looters broke into abandoned homes. Violence erupted over food and medicine. Somewhere between 40 and 60% of London's population died between 1348 and 1350. Perhaps 50,000 people, gone in less than 2 years. By 1351, the worst had passed. Survivors emerged from their homes into a transformed city. Entire neighborhoods stood empty. Weeds grew through the cobblestones. The screams had finally stopped. But London would never be the same. The plague had shattered the feudal system, created labor shortages that empowered the working class, and left psychological scars that lasted generations. The Black Death would return in waves over the next 3 centuries, but that first outbreak remained the most devastating. The night of endless screams eventually ended, but for those who lived through it, the echoes remained forever. If you found this video haunting, subscribe for more dark history. What other medieval horrors should we explore? Let me know in the comments below.